My name is David Huerta. I am the owner and head coach here at Los Angeles Muaythai. I've been involved with the sport for a little over 20 years. I was always into martial arts as a kid. I did a little bit of boxing and karate, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't something that I was dedicated to as a kid. When I was younger, I used to watch the early UFC fights with my dad. It was on TV, and I really enjoyed it. I liked that there was real fighting outside of boxing. We would also watch a lot of boxing. About the age of 19, 20 years old, I moved down the street from a gym in East LA and went out there. It was actually a gift from my girlfriend at the time, wife now. And I tried it out for the first time and fell in love with it. I was hooked since day one. I knew it was something that I wanted to do. I played sports as a kid, and of course, there's no weight classes in the sports that I was playing. So it was cool to see that there was a sport that had weight classes. And at that time, I thought, man, if I get into this sport, ain't nobody gonna be able to fuck with me. I was really confident that I would do well. And then I went to my first fight, and I noticed how serious you have to be in order to be successful in this sport. So I dove all in. I got injured soon after training Muay Thai, like the first month in, but I fell in love with it and just kept grinding, grinding, grinding. I've had over 50 fights, both amateur and professional. I've had state titles, regional titles, international titles, and I've also had the honor of competing and representing the U.S. in Muay Thai in both the World Championships and the Pan Americans. I feel like I've had a successful career. I know what it's like to be a fighter. I've also been teaching for over 17 years, and I fell in love with that. I'm really passionate about teaching the sport, and not only the sport, but really getting into a fighter's mindset and their psyche, and trying to teach them how to rise above the limitations that we put on ourselves. I'm just as passionate about teaching as I was about fighting. I'm committed to it. Always a student, asking questions. I still have my crews, my trainers, my teachers alongside me most days here at the gym. I'm under the tutelage of Mr. Montri Sunpanich, who was a promoter since the 1977, right around that, mid 70s. He was one of the first promoters here in the U.S. He was the man who brought a Thai team to fight against the American fighters when it was U.S. versus Thailand at the Grand Olympic Auditorium, which was a historic event. I teach alongside crew Jorge Zarate, who's a pioneer in the sport here in the U.S., especially in California, being a Chicano man. When back then there were no Chicanos who were doing Muay Thai. So it's really cool to have him alongside and have him as my teacher till this day. I could always go to him, ask questions, be humble enough to listen to the answers, even though sometimes I don't necessarily agree or want to hear certain things. Sometimes it takes me a little while to really get what he's trying to tell me. That's basically it. I guess my philosophy when it comes to coaching is to really get the student to realize that they're capable of doing anything that they really set their minds to. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's the truth. The real limitations that we face are the limitations that we put on ourselves. As soon as you start trying, you really put an effort into whatever it is that you're going to do, you'll see how far you really are. Oftentimes, you're not as far as you think you are from achieving your goal. But once you do it, you start to believe in yourself, and it makes you want to try harder. It motivates you. It inspires you to put a little more effort into it. And once you're motivated, there's nothing that can stop you. It's not going to be easy. You can't just hope that things happen. You have to put it into action. Once you start putting it into action, you start working on whatever that is, then eventually you're going to achieve it. Once you learn that mindset, that if you try and you really work your ass off for it, you can achieve things, then you're going to be able to accomplish a lot of goals. And I think that's the number one thing that I try to instill in my students. I think one of the most important qualities that a person has to have if they want to be successful in this sport is they have to be disciplined and they have to be determined. You have to be disciplined outside of the gym. It's easy to work hard when other people around you are working hard, but it really comes down to what you do when you're by yourself, when no one else is looking. So you have to eat healthy, you have to get your rest, you have to do the extra things out there to live a fighter's lifestyle. And you have to be determined. Like I said, it's not going to be easy. So it's something that you really have to want to do, believe in it, and work your ass off. You have to work your ass off. If you're not pushing yourself, if you're not taking action, you can't expect to be successful in this sport. Well, my coaching has evolved just like a fighter evolves. So I picked up on a few strategies that I was taught, but then I also saw how different people are with their approach to training. Not every person learns the same way. So sometimes it's trial and error. You have to kind of cater to that individual when it comes to having them figure out how to do certain things or how to believe in themselves. Overall, in terms of teaching in a class, I have a curriculum, and that's something that I developed for the past 15, 16 years. I used to just kind of teach, have an understanding of what I was going to teach. And that worked out for me because I think the way that I teach is I simplify things so that people could understand what it is that I want them to do. But over the years, I really developed my curriculum, which has helped me out. I have like a blueprint on how someone should learn the sport from the very beginner, basic level, someone who has never trained before, to a professional athlete. The way I stay updated with Muay Thai is I'm a nerd when it comes to this. And I've been like that since day one. I always study the sport. I'm asking questions to those people that have more experience than I do. And I watch fights all day, listen to interviews. I'm just a nerd when it comes to this. I think you have to remain a student of the game, and that's something that I've done since day one. Again, I'm fortunate enough to have my elders that are around that are, I can reach them, I can call them. They're right next to me all the time. So I'm always asking questions. And I think you just have to really love the sport, you know? This is all I do. Muay Thai is my life. I have God, I have my family, and I have Muay Thai. I think students can expect to learn a lot. They're going to work hard, and you have to have fun also. I don't think you always have to be just gung-ho about training, although that is a big part of it, you know, working hard. But I think you have to enjoy the grind. You have to enjoy coming in here. You have your teammates, you have your close friends that you work with all the time. You know, some students show up at the same time just because they hold each other accountable. So you're definitely gonna be part of the community here. You're gonna train your ass off, and you're gonna learn a lot. I think when a student is struggling to understand or to progress, you just have to slow it down. This is something that I tell my students all the time. Whenever you're learning something new, practice it slow. Everyone wants to rush through the process. You can't rush the process. You can't cheat the grind. So you practice it slow so that you get a good understanding of what it is that you're trying to do. And even if you understand it, physically, you still might not be able to do it. So that's a gradual process. So again, it's important to stay committed, to stay consistent. And in terms of believing in themselves, that's a little trickier. The physical part may not be as hard. I think the mental part of it can take a little while. So it's important that you be patient with the student and also have them hold each other accountable. It's important for the student to understand what it is that they struggle with, be real with themselves, and learn how to work their way through it. One of the biggest success stories that I have is from our fighter D'Angelo Gianni. I remember when he first came to the gym, he wasn't that consistent. He was a little overweight, and I just seemed like he had all the talent in the world, but he just wasn't ready to commit to this sport or to this lifestyle. Fast forward a year from when he first started, he started showing up to the gym. He started sparring with the fighters. He showed me that he was coachable and he was determined to get better. And since then, now he has a record of 14-0. He's going to be fighting for a world title soon. And I'm just really proud of his progression in this sport. Some of the challenges that I've had to overcome as a gym owner was I guess number one would be the pandemic. COVID was really rough on a lot of gyms. I know a lot of people that had to shut down because of it. Um, Luckily for us, we had members that were supportive. Some of these members didn't show up to the gym, but they were still willing to pay their fees to help out the gym. I also think it's just having the right environment. Not everyone that comes to the gym is a good fit for the gym, and I think it's important for the gym owner to be able to see that and protect the space. You know, I think one bad seed can really ruin the rest of the batch, and so it's important for myself and for the staff to be able to recognize those things so that we keep the energy in the gym positive. We need to have fun in here. And if there's someone that is bringing the vibe of the gym down, we have to address it. Well, my goals for the gym will be one, to expand, to grow in size. I would like to be one of the top Muay Thai gyms in the US to start off and eventually in the world. I want to have fighters, but more than fighters, I want to be able to share this sport with a lot of people. You know, I think some coaches pride themselves on having X amount of fighters, and I love working with fighters too. Is one of my biggest passions. But I want to spread our style of Muay Thai to as many people as I can. And that's probably my biggest goal, just expanding, making this gym bigger, reaching out, reaching more people. Our style of Muay Thai is a traditional style of Muay Thai, but we also put in our flavor to it. You know, Cruz Zarate has boxing experience, so we use a lot of the Western style of boxing. We focus on footwork. We try to be all around a solid team, solid Muay Thai. So you have your punches, your kicks, your knees, your elbows. We really focus on our clinching, being a defensive fighter, an offensive fighter, just all the way around, understanding the sport and not just focusing on one aspect of the sport. There's a warrior in all of us is what I believe. We all have that power inside of us to be able to live our best lives. I don't know if we always do that. I don't know if we always make that choice that today we're going to be the best version of ourselves. So there's a warrior in all of us. It's just a reminder that you have that warrior in you, that you can accomplish the things that you don't think that you can do, or that other people may put a limitation to your abilities, but you have it in you. You can do what it is that you want to do if you believe in it and if you work your ass off. Well, I'm grateful to have the gym. I'm grateful to go through the things that I've gone through, my ups, my downs, because it's made me a more patient person. I believe that I can overcome a lot. And just because I can doesn't mean I have to go through a lot. You know, so I'm just grateful for all of my experiences, grateful to be in a position where I am, where I can help other people now and just grow. Sky's the limit. Just grow.